Wedding speeches. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you love hearing them but hate saying them? We're going to talk a little bit about the traditional order for speeches at a wedding, but it's important to remember that it is your wedding, so the format is really up to you. It is useful to consider the traditional format so that you can decide what kind of elements to pull from it to make your wedding.
Let's talk about the traditional version of the order of speeches. Here is the full list of everything that's included, so keep in mind that many modern weddings use a modified version.
If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Luke and this is Bethany, and we're from Loft Studio. We're a husband and wife team that specialize in wedding photography and videography.
We also have a passion for helping others take their business to the next level. We release videos every week on strategies you can use to get more clients and get paid doing what you love.
So go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out. So now let's review that long list of toasts and speeches.
Welcome by the Master of Ceremonies. Introduction of the person proposing a toast to the bride and groom. Response from the groom and a toast to the bridesmaids. Response by the best man, toast to the parents of the bride. Response by the father of the bride, toast to the parents of the groom. Response by the father of the groom, reading of important messages, any other comments by those who wish to be acknowledged. The MC thanks the musicians, caterers, and others.
Wow, that's a long list. So it used to be a back and forth of people talking to the parents, and then they would rebuttal, and then you talk to the other parent, rebuttal. So none of that really happens anymore. I've never seen a wedding like that, but from our experience, the list can be shortened to a more common list of speeches. For example, the MC would introduce and give their own speech. The groomsman or bridesmaid, whichever one goes up first, would do a toast, and then the other one would go up and do a toast. Then we get the parents of the groom to do a toast, the parents of the bride to do a toast, and then the bride and groom themselves would give a speech. So in total, it breaks up into 5 different speeches, and we find that goes really well in between different courses of a meal. So
It's 6 actually.
6?
You do the MC. 6.
Oh, okay. I guess 6 then. The 6 different speeches that we see are the most common ones in that order roughly, leading up to the bride and groom thanking everyone. And then MC can have some closing words, I guess, but usually it's the bride and groom.
You don't have to stick to this format. If anyone's very shy, why spoil the happy day by torturing them?
That's true.
A lot depends on who is good at making speeches.
Wedding speeches are a beautiful way to acknowledge and thank every person who has helped put your wedding together. It's really important. We always say everything you spent money on, we're going to capture in the photos and videos, but that's kind of the same rule with speeches. Everyone that's kind of helped you throughout the whole thing in a major way, that you should definitely be thanking them in a speech,
And not just helping you with the wedding, helping you in your life. I think that you want to thank the people who've really had a big impact in your life. I think it's so important.
That's true. We always say, talk about each other, talk about your parents, your grandparents, siblings, all the people that have known you for a really long time. Clearly you've made some kind of important memory with them, and that's why they're at your wedding, right?
And take a minute, there's nothing better than being able to say beautiful things to your parents or have your parents say beautiful things to you. It's not every day that your parents get up there and tell you how proud they are of you, or how happy that you found the person that you're going to be with forever, and that they're so happy to watch you grow and see your life unfold. So taking advantage of these speeches is really important.
Yeah, I hear you. And we're going to go over a few tips on how to make your wedding speech a memorable one. So these are to help you, inspire you to not make any mistakes while you're doing it, but also maybe some ideas of what to include in your speech.
Practice makes perfect. Make sure you rehearse your wedding toast before the big day.
That's a big one.
Practicing your speech will build your confidence so that when the moment arrives, you'll have complete control over your nerves. Another upside of being well prepared when delivering your speech is the ability to speak to the crowd with ease and make eye contact with all of the guests.
I know, public speaking is not one of my fortes, and I remember being up there on my wedding day, even though they're all people that came to see us and who knew us, I had not a great time. I was stuttering, I was...
Kind of like these videos.
Kind of like the 40 takes it takes us to get through these videos. Yes, yes, I hear you. And
No,
to
they
top it
don't.
off...
They don't. They don't hear you.
Oh,
I
they don't,
do.
yeah. True. On to the next one. Start with a bang. So capture your guest's attention as soon as you start speaking by opening your toast with a catchy opening line, a fun, a tasteful joke, things like that really set it off into the mood for the rest of your speech right at the beginning. Being entertaining and engaging is really important, especially as you're looking around the room to make sure that nobody is being left out. I mean, they're here to see you or your bridal party. If this is a bridesmaid or groomsman listening to this, your speech, get their attention, because sometimes people are walking around, they're doing this or doing that. Just make sure to get their attention, because you have some nice things to say, you have some important things to say. So captivating the crowd is a winning opener, and will make sure that everyone pays attention throughout the whole speech.
Make it snappy. While you don't want your speech to be brief, that you basically seem unprepared, you do want to keep your toast short and sweet so that you hold everyone's attention. Include a memory about the bride and groom and a few loving words of encouragement. The best wishes that you can think of for their future happiness is going to make the perfect wedding toast.
Couldn't agree more. And it has to be from the heart. While it's good to keep wedding speeches lighthearted and entertaining, including some sentimental moments is a big yes. So make sure to, pull on the heartstrings, think about times that you felt this person helped you out so much in your life, or they meant so much to you, and mention that. Talk about the emotional part of how they helped you become the person you are. Be genuine and tell some heartfelt anecdotes. A little bit of emotion in a wedding toast definitely should not be shied away from. Like I said, be yourself, get those tears flowing. We love that.
A good story, a good little tidbit of people might not know.
Yeah.
Some of the ones I always remember are when the parents are there and the friends are like, that one time when we said that we were doing this, but we weren't really. We were like, actually partying in the basement, or, we pretended that we didn't do these things. Those are always my favorite when it comes to wedding speeches. I actually crack out laughing when that happens.
They're like, oh, I haven't told you this, but 10 years ago, yeah, we did this thing, and
Or sometimes it goes the other way, where they'll be talking about their parents. I don't even remember this one, but they talked about how their parents would always tell them to go to bed early, but reality is that it's because they wanted them to go to bed early so that the parents could start drinking.
Yeah, I
when
remember
they
that. It was like go to hockey tournaments or something, and the parents would always get all the kids to go to bed early so that the parents could, you're at a hotel, they would drink and play cards and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of really funny when you get that realization as you grow up together. So.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, we're just all in this together, right? So one of the best tips for all the wedding speeches is to address everyone in the room, not just specific people. That being said, don't not target certain people. You'd really talk to your parents, talk to this, talk to that, talk to specific people, but you also want to tell stories that are kind of general fun for everyone, right? This point is particularly important for the groom's speech, as he should address his friends, his family, his in-laws, but more importantly, his new spouse. This is really important. A lot of people talk about how they thank everyone else. They talk about their parents and friends, but they don't talk to their new spouse, their fiance that's now their new wife, or their new husband. Take some time and just tell them what you think about the whole day, just even if you talked about what you loved the most about the wedding, what anticipated thing, exceeded your expectations, whatever it is, just give an honest opinion about why you married this person, if you haven't had a chance to say it in your vows or card or whatever. What? Am I just going off on a super tangent?
No, it's just that you're give general feedback about the wedding. It just reminded me of a speech that we heard Groom give, and it was you know what I'm talking about. Your demeanors are...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what he said exactly, but it was a good one.
But basically, it almost just pulled out the thesaurus and described his spouse, and it just, your mannerisms are unique.
That was.
So don't do that.
No, don't do that. Don't thesaurus your speech. Keep it simple, But don't forget to give special mention to guests who have traveled a long way. That's what everyone does. Acknowledge your close friends and family that couldn't make it to the big day. This is a big one recently. Just to make sure that you, even if somebody is not attending in person, if you have something to say about them, please include it in your speech. I think it makes a really good addition to anyone's speech.
Don't roast them, toast them. One of our weddings that I remember shooting, literally the groom got up there and said, "Welcome to the roast." Of his name, basically. And it was so funny. It really just made everything lighthearted. So remember, I think that there's place for roasting, but try and keep some of it for for maybe not during the wedding speeches. So
maybe in their, those guest books and stuff, just write it in there if you have any funny stories that probably shouldn't be said out loud. Or come find the videographer personally. You can tell me the stories, that you don't want to say up in public, and
just be permanently in their video.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. Yeah, the video has to be entertaining.
But as the old saying goes, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. So don't make jokes or tell stories that are overly personal or too embarrassing, because they could be taken the wrong way and hurt people's feelings.
That's true.
There's nothing worse than an unhappy bridal party on the big day. So if you're going to include jokes in your speech, make sure they're lighthearted and, not going to upset too many people.
That's true. Based on that too, it's not open mic night, so do not let the speech turn into open mic where you're just blabbling on like I usually do in these videos. Make sure that the MC knows exactly which guests are speaking and when. That's big important. That we work a lot with the MCs and DJs to make sure that we're ready for all the speeches, so it's nice to have a good layout of when the speeches are going to be happening. And don't let them, don't give the microphone to anyone else when it's your speech, or, don't go off the guest thing. Usually there's a spot for other people that want to say something at the end. Talk to the bride and groom. Sometimes they don't allow that, so, just follow the rules. And the thing is, you don't want guests who have had a couple of drinks and they just want to go up there and talk in the mic if they're a little bit too much. We've had some of those weddings, and It's not fun from our part, because we're just filming all this, and then they don't know the rules, that they have to stand behind the podium and they start walking away, and then we lose some angles. It's just not the greatest scenario for everyone, but just be careful, who goes up there to give a speech, and just make sure nobody's had too much to drink either. That's something we can all agree on,
It is what it is. It can be funny too, so. So last but not least, keep it PG. Don't curse unless, that's just your family. I'm okay with cursing, but, some people don't like that.
That's true.
Don't say anything that could be considered inappropriate. Remember, there are guests of all ages at wedding, including elderly relations of the bride and the groom, like parents and grandparents. And whatever you do, don't bring up any of the couple's exes.
Oh, God. That hasn't happened to any of the ones we've been to, but I can imagine that being dramatic. Like I said, keep the drinks away. If you're giving a speech, wait, it's okay to have one to cool the nerves, but you kind of want to be on your A game if you're giving a good speech. I know that you can really tell the difference. We've been to a lot of weddings of people that have prepared a speech versus the people that have just gone up there and winging it, or have drank too much, or whatever it is. And if the bride and groom have video, be careful, because that video will last forever. So you really want to do a good job. You want to have a good speech that will, make people cry and laugh at the same time. So that's always the goal. If you can make people cry and laugh at the same time, I think you've hit your speech.
Yeah.
Your speech quota.
A little pro tip is to make sure that you order shots for as soon as all the speeches are done.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We should add that to the tips here.
I did. Just did.
There you go.
Cheers. One of the most commonly overlooked pieces of advice for anyone giving a wedding speech: don't forget to actually toast the newlyweds.
That's true.
A wedding toast shouldn't be an end with an awkward end your toast by saying, "So let's raise a glass to the happy couple." Cheers.
That's right. Cheers, because they've just been married.
Are married.
Oh, yeah. Because they are married. That's right.
It's okay.
And what's your best piece of advice for any couple that just got married? Like, if you had to one of those, what would you do?
What,
would
for
you
this
say?
speech?
No, just like straight up. To have a happy wedding or a happy marriage, what do you need?
Communication.
Communication. I was gonna say love, but I guess, tomato, tomato.
That's why we work good.
Yeah, exactly. If you're planning a speech, if you're a bride and groom, if you're part of the wedding party, if you're a parent of the bride and groom, whoever you are, if you're giving a speech, hopefully these tips have helped you come up with something that is going to be memorable, but also following all these rules. That means you're not going to offend anyone, and you're going to make some people cry and laugh. So stay on these tips. If you want to know more about what it is that we think, or if you want some ideas of wedding speech things to include, we've been to a lot of weddings, we've seen a lot of stuff. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see you next time.